Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. So nine-handed 510. Go ahead. So you start with 1935?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
And the villain is an unknown young Euro kid.
Okay.
But I still have an observation. This guy is probably playing too many hands
Too many
because I
hands.
see him. I see him cold call too much. So I don't know if that's good hands, but that is a reasonable conclusion because I see him getting walk a lot, very very active.
Okay. I mean that's your boy. You love to get involved with these euros, huh? I think the last time you called in, you had a euro hand too.
No, no. I had a reasonable hand. But
Yeah.
what happened was the under the gun one limped.
Okay.
I had ace jack offsuit, ace of diamonds, jack of hearts
Yep.
from UTG +2. I raised to 50.
Okay.
On the villain from the big blind calls, and then the UTG +1 calls. So the pot is three ways, 205.
So the UTG one is just like some rec player, you think, just limping along?
Right.
Yeah.
Recreational player, yes.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you have
Okay.
the betting lead here with ace jack offsuit, and it's three ways.
Yes. So
Okay.
the flop came seven of hearts, four of hearts, two of clubs.
Okay. So seven of hearts, four of hearts, two of clubs. You have ace of diamonds, jack of hearts, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then the big line surprised me. He never does this, and he does 85.
So the big blind, who's the euro in the villain in this
Yes.
hand, donks for 85, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It's interesting.
Yep. And then the under the gun one folds,
Okay.
and then I decided to flat call.
Okay, this is interesting. Obviously, like if under the gun one had called, you would just probably just get out of there, right? I assume.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't think I want to get involved. Yeah.
So what do you think this guy's range is here for leading out of the big blind?
I thought this, and at the time, we could.
Sorry, you're cutting out on the. What did you say?
Uh, we could have like 7x
Yeah.
pair. It could be like 4, 5, ace deuce. Could be really wide. It could be like a few over pairs, like eights and nines that didn't want a three bet.
Uh-huh.
And then he could have a bunch of draws, like 5, 6 suited, ace 5 suited, ace 3 suited. What else it could be there? Even 3, 5 suited is a possibility.
So you think that he could be making a protection bet. He could be leading out with a draw, obviously. You've got
Yes.
ace jack with the jack of hearts, so you do have a backdoor heart draw. Obviously, you've got two overcards, and he's leading half the size of the pot, so you're getting about 3-1, and you make the call. I mean, obviously, I don't hate it. I mean, especially heads up. It's just interesting when some people lead out like this and into a multi-way field. So you call. All right, let's go to the turn.
Yes, the turn is a 10 of diamonds,
Okay.
and the villain Euro kid down bet again 175 into the pot of 375.
So 175 into 375 on the 10 of diamonds. Now that's really interesting because the question now becomes that protection part of this guy's range, right? That protection area of his range that you think like he didn't 3-bet eights, he didn't 3-bet nines, he might be bleeding out with a 7. The question then becomes is, you know, is he going to continue to bet those hands, right?
Yeah, because once he bets the turn, I don't think he's going to have like hands like 4, 5, deuce 3, ace
Uh-huh.
deuce.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those hands are more likely to check.
Yeah.
So I think that he would continue to bet something like continue to bet like a 7, 8, 7, 9, ace 7, 7, 10. Obviously the turn 2 pair.
See,
A lot of hard draw because there's a flush draw as well. So yeah.
right. I don't know if he continues to bet a 7 though. See, this is where maybe I differ from what you're feeling about this here, William, because I don't know if he continues to bet those mediocre sort of protection hands. So why don't you tell us what you did here on the turn? He bet 175 and a 375.
Yes. So I decided to raise him as a semi bluff to 500.
Well,
and he calls.
you're raising him as an airball bluff, right?
Not
Semi
not
bluff with
no
like two overcards,
not
you mean?
quite. No, no, not quite. Because the overcards that come on the river, if it calls on this spot, let's say he somehow had like 10-9 of hearts, 10-8 of hearts, or whatever, 10x, right?
Yeah.
Or my jack or ace could improve my hand, at least some of the time.
Right, but I think where I differ from where you're going here with this is that if I was going to continue on with this hand, I think I would
Mm-hmm.
probably just still call as opposed to
Oh,
raise. I don't
okay.
really see the need here, and the reason why I sort of differ from you is because I feel like a lot of those in between protection hands start to lose value. And I don't know how often sevens are leading turn. Even if he ran into a 10x of hearts, is he continuing to lead with that? And the hands that like what are you getting to fold here? Do you see what I'm saying? Like what are you getting to fold when you raise to 500 here? When he bets
Okay,
175 into 375.
so so realistically, my thought process was that I don't expect him to fold anything on the turn.
Okay.
So what I'm hoping for here is that by raising the turn, I'm representing extreme strength, like an overpair or a set, and then I could bump the river as long as it's on a brick. So I would have to abandon my bluff on a heart
Right.
or on anything that could make a straight, obvious straight, an 8 or a 3.
Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, and again, you raise with the ace jack offsuit over a limp to 50, the big blind and the limper call, and now this Euro guy leads for 85 on 7-4 deuce with two hearts, and guy in between folds and you call, turns the 10 of diamonds, he bets 175 into 375, and you raise to 500. Are you now? If this is a Euro guy, most of these guys are playing for profit, and what I would question here is that like, what are you representing here for value? Like, are you playing aces and kings this way or queens? I feel like if you were not going to raise on the flop, you would continue to just call on the turn. Are you
Well,
with
I
me?
was actually, yeah, yeah. I saw your question earlier. So I thought that I don't know if I want to raise the flop because like I mentioned, the thing about raising this flop is that he could just jam all in, and so even if I overpair, I'm not doing that great against it whatever flush draw combo draw he has.
No, and I don't disagree with you that you wouldn't raise the flop with an overpair, but I'm saying, are you gonna, if you're not gonna raise the flop with an overpair, are you gonna raise the turn now with these
I
stacks to 500?
I think it's fine to raise here because if I don't believe that guy has a set, and which I didn't, because otherwise I wouldn't make this play.
Uh huh.
When I'm raising my overpairs for value because wherever he calls that is less than my jacks, queens, kings, or aces, he's behind.
No, well, yeah, I understand that, but if you're scared to raise the flop because you don't want to get jammed on, and now
Right.
on the turn you're going to raise because you don't think he has a set. My question to you is why does he not have a set if the only thing that changed was the fact that he just bet again on the turn? Right? He bet
Uh, be-
85, you called. Now he bets 175 on a 10 turn, and now suddenly he doesn't have a set. Whereas on the flop, if you had an overpair, you wouldn't want to raise because you wouldn't want to call an all in. Do you see where I'm going here?
Yeah, that's true. But I think that my opponent has less incentive to jam the turn. Let's say he has something like ace five of hearts, right?
Yeah,
He would jam the flop for sure. Ace three of hearts, or
with two
whatever.
cards to come. You mean he's just less incentivized to jam a combo draw on the turn when it looks like you're not folding, is what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad way of thinking about it. I just look at this though, like I said, from the surface is it's just a little. I don't know how often you would be raising over pairs here on the turn, but I guess if you're saying that you would, maybe okay. I can be honest with you though, I would tend to just call across the turn, call or
Okay.
fold as opposed to raise. I don't know the last time I just raised like in a spot like this where you called with two overs and
Okay.
then the turn didn't really change anything. The guy bet again, and now suddenly like you raise. You know what I mean? Like I don't see that play all that much, and I haven't made that play all that much. So you make it 500, and he calls. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. And
Okay.
then the river is the queen of diamonds,
Okay.
which I thought in my mind like great, fantastic. It is an overcard to wherever it's been calling
Uh
if it
huh.
has made hand.
Yeah.
The pot is 1375. I
Hmm.
have about 1300. I ship it all in.
So
My
he
opponent
checks,
quickly
right?
folds.
He
Oh yeah,
checks.
sorry. He checked. He checked.
Yeah.
I ship all in, and then he quickly folds.
Now, my comment about here, like I said, it's hard for me to get to this spot because I don't think I would play it this way. Like I wouldn't raise the turn
Hmm.
like this. Do you do you think that you need to move all in here if you're going to bluff? I guess is my question. Now there, yes, we can sort of be polarized, and I mean, now when you raise turn and jam all in, you really are representing like tens, sevens, queens. But then the other question I have is like, would you jam all in with those hands for value, especially if you ran into queens at the end? I feel like an all in from queens would be, what are you getting called by here? You know what I mean? Unless the guy has a set that he probably would go with it on the turn. So I actually played a hand like this that I brought up on the Top Section podcast last week against a very well known Live at the Bike regular who plays on the big game, and then he's been playing across some of the games that I played last week and the week before, where I thought I had sort of made an error because I had jammed sort of like you did here, and the jam in retrospect was a little bit fishy because I feel like maybe if I had gone 2/3, I might have actually gotten more credit. And here, with the pot being 1300, he's not going to fold a set. And
No,
for some
never.
reason, if he has like two pair, like he's run into like queen ten of hearts, he's not folding that either. So I just wonder here if you can get the same thing done with like a $700 to $800 bet that gives you a cheaper price on your bluff and looks more credible for value.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I
That's
mean?
a good point. Yeah,
But he just snap folded.
yeah, pretty
I,
much.
I mean, I just wonder if you had the best hand.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know if he
Yeah.
continues on with a bet with 10x of hearts across on the turn. And if he snap folded, obviously he didn't run into queen x of hearts, right? I mean, that would be like the
No.
one thing that if he somehow like ran into queen x of hearts and you jam the river, like it would be close for him whether or not,
Yeah, I
he
think
would
no. I'm pretty
call.
sure he would call. This guy would definitely call. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought in my thought process was that if somehow he was sticky with a 7x, or like an 8, 9, 10x
Yeah.
somehow.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the hands I'm trying to fold out. But yeah, in retrospect, yeah, maybe I thought maybe my hand is good enough of the time that maybe I don't need to jam with Ace Jack because Ace Jack has so much showdown value here.
Well, I mean, I think that you probably want to bet. I don't think you necessarily want to check, but the hands that you're
Mm.
targeting to get folds from, I think can be done with a lot smaller sizing, and I think you just get more credence for a value line with smaller sizing because you're very polar here. I don't know if you play aces this way either. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's like,
that's true.
but I mean, no, it's a good hand. Thanks for the call, William. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.